Hello, everyone. I want to quickly talk about moving through your day and feeling like you get pulled out of alignment or you get rattled, right? Like, wait a second, everything was going real well, and then I had an experience internally or externally that rattled me out of an aligned state. So, first of all, what is an aligned state? Feeling aligned. Feeling aligned is feeling like you're home, like you can hear yourself, you can hear your voice, you feel good, like nobody's going to break your stride, right? You are trusting yourself. You just feel like you're you. But what happens is that when we go about our day, we'll have interactions with people outside. Maybe it's our boss, our friends, our loved one, our children, and it rattles us. It moves us out of that aligned state. All of a sudden, we're caught up in some sort of argument or discussion, some frequency, some emotional state, something that pulls us out of that really fun, aligned state that we find ourselves in. It could also be internally, right? All of a sudden you're doing a behavior that you don't like. That will pull you out of an aligned state. You'll start having these thoughts or beliefs that you're like, why am I thinking this? And it'll bring you down a rabbit hole. That will pull you out of an aligned state. Certain powerful emotions, that will pull you out of an aligned state. So here's what I want you to imagine. When you're in that aligned state, okay, that's sovereignty. I want you to imagine like a light is shining straight down, like someone has a flashlight and it's shining straight down on you, okay? And when you're standing in that light, in that flashlight, you're in your sovereignty. So no matter what is occurring externally or internally, you stay aligned. Okay, that's how we're designed to be. We're practicing this, but we are literally designed to be who we are. Nobody's going to break my stride. I'm good. I'm safe. I know myself. I know my voice. I know my truth. That's sovereignty. And no matter what happens externally from somebody else or an experience or whatever comes up internally, beliefs, behaviors, emotions, thoughts, we stay in that aligned state. So how do we do that in a world that we're living in right now? One, you've got to be aware. You have to be aware. You have to be the observer of what it feels like when you are in that light, when you're underneath that flashlight. What does it feel like? And then the moment you get pulled out of that aligned state, when you get pulled out of your sovereignty, that's the most important piece. Because if you don't know when you're in alignment and sovereignty and when you're not, you're never going to be able to keep yourself in that sovereign aligned state. So throughout your day, pay attention to when you feel good, like when you feel you, right? Like you feel empowered, you feel strong, you feel confident. Feel that. Be aware of that. That's the aligned sovereign state. And then the moment you have an argument, the moment something comes up within you that you don't like, the moment you are confronted with something externally and you feel yourself insecure, doubting, distracted by something, feeling not like you any longer, right? Getting caught up in a rabbit hole, getting caught up in fear, somebody else's story or narrative. The moment you feel yourself click out of that aligned state, that is the moment you can say, hold on a second. I have now moved out of alignment. I'm going to bring myself back in. And so step 2, how do you bring yourself back in? Other than observing that you're pulled out, you find your breath. It's legit that easy. Find your breath. Because the breath brings you directly back underneath that light. Where's my breath? We make things so much more complicated. And the more you practice that, the easier it will be. Now, the breath is not going to anchor you. Your awareness, observation, and choice anchors you in the unsovereignty. All breath does is point you back underneath the light. Okay? So if something's happening externally and it's really intense, and you're like, I'm now being pulled out of alignment. Let's say it's an argument with your husband or your wife, and you're pulled out of an aligned state because it's an emotional argument, right? And you're like, I'm out of alignment. Where's my breath? You find your breath. But that argument is so intense that boom, immediately you're pulled back out of alignment, right? The breath is only going to show you how to come back in. Then it becomes a choice. You literally have to almost effort yourself in that aligned sovereign state over and over while you're having the argument, while you're in the rabbit hole with somebody, while you're having some sort of behavior within you that you don't like. You have to literally practice efforting yourself back into that aligned sovereign state until it becomes effortless. And eventually we find ourselves walking around in this world in this chaotic, insane, intense evolutionary shift in human consciousness, not trying to control it, but staying sovereign, recognizing I'm safe and free to go through any chaos because I am constantly choosing my beingness from a state of sovereignty and alignment. Hopefully this made sense. Pay attention. Observe, I'm out of alignment, find the breath, and then with effort, keep choosing to come back in. Keep choosing to find you. Keep choosing, because we are designed to go through this crazy, chaotic shadow, safe, sovereign, aligned, and empowered, always through choice. I love you.